Good evening and welcome to Benalmádena English News Broadcast. Digital Costa del Sol brings you every Friday all the information about this week's news. The surroundings of Casa de la Cultura became a symbolic cemetery for the protests on occasion of the Day Against Gender Violence, called by the Movement of Democratic Women of Benalmádena.
Monday, 25th November, is the International Day Against Gender Violence, and figures issued at the end of the third quarter of this year show that between the beginning of January and the end of September, the Instituto Andaluz de la Mujer attended to 232 female victims of gender violence and their dependents in Málaga. To make visible this problematic, several concentrations had been organized around Spain. In Málaga's protest, Benalmádena's women movement had a big part, as we could see of their representatives, Sandra García, leading the protest.
Esta tarde hemos puesto toda esta zona llena de lápidas.
This evening we have filled the street with gravestones remembering all of the victims of this year, already 72. We will send our message making noise and read the manifesto against this situation, asking for bigger budgets to maintain gender violence laws, helping women to get out of this hell.
On Tuesday, the surroundings of Casa de la Cultura at Arroyo de la Miel were filled with people for a concentration of protest and vindication on occasion of the Day Against Gender Violence that was celebrated on Monday throughout Spain. The concentration, which was initially organized for last week but could not be held due to bad weather, began with the reading of the manifesto. Benalmádena's mayor, Víctor Navas, wanted to be present in this act of claim, highlighting the great work done by the MDM.
Hoy el Movimiento Democrático de Mujeres de Benalmádena.
Today, Benalmádena's Women Democratic Movement organized this protest, simple but powerful, here at Arroyo de la Miel. If these days we had all the institutional acts, and yesterday we had a big demonstration on Málaga City, today was time to do it here. It doesn't matter how many people came, the important part is that we are doing it, and we are sending a strong message, rejecting any type of gender violence. I think administrations had a big responsibility, but also society.
There were also several members of the government team, such as Councilwoman of Culture and Education Elena Galán, who stressed the importance of supporting such acts to keep up the fight.
Muchas mujeres benalmadenses.
Lots of women from Benalmádena want to keep fighting this social problem, that is gender violence, and the murder of women by the hand of their couples that think of them as property, taking the luxury of deciding over their life. Today we've reunited here at Casa de la Cultura to demonstrate our stand and fight together to end this problem.
The concentration had been convened at 6 p.m. and lasted for several hours, in which the manifesto was read and a tribute was paid to the victims who had been represented with symbolic gravestones. An afternoon of vindication, which is added to the one lived on Monday in Málaga City and in many cities in Spain. And it doesn't end here. This year, the UN Women Organization has planned 16 days of activism to eradicate violence against women, running from 25th November to Human Rights Day on 10th December.
The manifestations against gender violence are an important protest action, but it is essential to organize different education and awareness activities, like the one which was celebrated on Tuesday at the Cerro del Viento Institute.
Benalmádena's mayor, Víctor Navas, and the councilwoman in charge of education, Elena Galán, participated on Tuesday at the Conference Against Gender Violence organized every year by Cerro del Viento Institute with its director, Antonio Roldán.
Encantados de estar aquí en el IES Cerro del Viento.
We are delighted of being here at Cerro del Viento in this new edition of their Gender Violence Conference, because I think if there is a place where we need to start creating a conscience and sensibilize what this problem means for society, that is precisely on our educational centers. And it is from a small age when we can educate in values. There is real equality and legal equality. Sometimes the legal one seems enough to calm our conscience, but real equality goes further.
Navas talked about the difference between legal and real equality, emphasizing that there is still a long way to go on a social level. He also valued the state pact and laws against gender violence after the resurgence of a denial movement by far-right parties. Galan highlighted the importance of continuing tirelessly with this fight, both in the streets and in the educational centers.
Me parece importantísimo.
It is really important if we want to fight gender violence. One of the most important things is working on education, and I think this event is all about creating a conscience among the pupils that we are equal and we need to fight for an equal world, because if we get it, there wouldn't be a space for gender violence.
They were also able to see other members from the government team, such as María Isabel Ruiz, Irene Díaz, Juan Carrillo, or Alicia Ladaga. With about 20 students holding a banner calling for an end to gender violence, the director of the center was the first to take the floor by opening the act with a brief intervention, after which it was the turn of Navas and Galan, who reviewed figures of this problem in the municipality and praised the initiative of the educational center. Roldan stressed the importance of knowing our history in order to progress without making mistakes from the past. The event continued with different activities prepared by the students, such as vindication test, video projections, songs and choreographies, all of them with gender violence as a central theme.
Benalmádena's mayor, Victor Navas, presided over a technical cleaning board with representatives of all political parties to increase the efficiency on the service and raising awareness among citizens. On Monday, a new meeting of the technical cleaning board was held at the City Council of Benalmádena with representatives of all political parties with representation in the plenary. During the technical meeting, the increase in efficiency on the service of collecting containers, paper and glass was highlighted.
Creo que el acuerdo entre todas las fuerzas políticas.
I believe in this commitment to get out of the discussion the cleanliness. We need to work creating a conscience. I think we all agree that our citizens have a responsibility on this. There is a commitment from all political forces to raise awareness and educate citizens. Navas has reaffirmed this commitment of the government team to open the doors to the participation of all the political parties of the corporation in all the technical tables in which is possible, so that they are partakers of the daily management.
La valoración que hacemos es que ha sido satisfactorio.
We have a positive valoration, but obviously there is always work to do. This year we can afford a quality plus thanks to having a bigger staff. The numbers show the increased awareness of Benalmadenses with recycling, with a considerable increase on the figures for 2018, and there are still 2 months of 2019 to be counted yet. Juan Carrillo, councilman in charge of RSU, expressed concern about the problem arising from the abandonment of belongings on public roads and the bad image of municipality that provokes.
Desde aquí queremos seguir.
We want to keep sending this important message to our citizens. It's not only about paper and glass, we have a big problem with furniture. This table is born from the agreement between all political forces to establish an adequate forum to discuss cleanliness, an essential aspect in the management of any town hall, especially in those of tourist municipalities. City Council begins the preparations for Christmas with the traditional nativity scene at Casa de la Cultura and the opening of the Christmas contest.
Once again, we approach the Christmas period and we all begin with the preparations, one of the most beautiful and exciting parts of this time of the year. Undoubtedly, one of the signs that we are already in this period on Benalmádena is to see how Casa de la Cultura begins to assemble its nativity scene. And it's tradition that Dini López prepares this incredible artwork.
Yo llevo colaborando muchísimos.
I have been collaborating for a long time, at least 15 years, and now I'm not sure why they have put me in charge, together with City Hall workers Carlos and Diego. And here we are. We used to be a lot of volunteers, but they left with time. It has been 6 years since I'm in charge, and I do it happily and for free. We have around 200 characters.
With the help of workers from the culture area, Dini prepares this nativity scene that will be inaugurated on December the 5th, and we can visit during the opening hours of Casa de la Cultura from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 5 to 9 p.m. Also, the councilwoman in charge of the culture area, Elena Galán, announced the opening for the 5 Christmas competitions convened from her delegation for the upcoming holidays. City Council has already opened the deadline for participation in the Christmas competitions that are traditionally organized from this area. Christmas nativity scenes, tales for school children, stories and Nuestra Navidad. This one is intended to encourage creativity and plastic arts of school children through the elaboration of Christmas decorative elements. The winner of Nuestra Navidad contest will have the honor of turning on the Christmas lighting this year. Galán highlighted that the contest of nativity scene is also open to the participation of associations and said that the promotion of creativity and of the plastic arts among the youngest, as well as the conservation of our traditions, are some of the objectives that are sought with these competitions.
Last week at Manilva, the British ambassador in Spain, Hugh Elliott, and a panel of experts spoke about Brexit consequences and how it will affect Britons living in Spain.
Britain's new ambassador in Spain, Hugh Elliott, spoke to expats last week about Brexit worries. A panel of experts was also on hand to discuss issues affecting Britons such as pensions, residency, and healthcare. Around 60 persons attended the seminar that was organized by Manilva Council. The ambassador visit was part of a tour of the Costa del Sol. Hugh Elliott, who has been in his role for 3 months, said that despite a change of Prime Minister in the United Kingdom, a new government and a new Brexit deal, the protection of citizens' rights had not changed. He explained that citizens' rights, which is a key issue of that withdrawal agreement, are not changed. So citizens' rights are fully protected. There is a transition period until the end of 2020 under the withdrawal agreement. Asked what the most important advice people should take away from the seminar was, Hugh added, 1. If you are British and living in Spain, make sure that you are registered as resident in Spain. The second thing is to sign up to our online Living in Spain guide that will keep you up to date with the very latest information that we have got as things develop. After the panel has finished speaking, questions were taken from the audience. An issue that cropped up how Britons living abroad for more than 15 years still can't vote in the United Kingdom. Helen Hodrow, who has lived in Manilva for 15 years, made a plea to the ambassador to talk to MPs in the United Kingdom about abolishing the 15-year voting rule. Addressing fellow Brits, she said that everyone should contact the MP where you were last registered to vote and ask them to support a government bill to get it. Hugh Elliott responded that it is the usual major concern. The ambassador added that for those who were still eligible to vote, there was time to register online as the deadline is 26 November.
And these are today's headlines. Benalmádena fights gender violence. Conference against gender violence in Cerro del Viento. Benalmádena's Town Hall celebrated a technical cleaning board. Culture opens the participation deadline for its Christmas competitions. The British ambassador spoke to expats about Brexit. On the weather forecast for the weekend, we have cloudy skies with intervals of high clouds, minimum temperatures without changes and maximum rising, loose northwest winds except in Guadalhorce Valley and the Bay of Malaga, where they will be more intense, decreasing during the afternoon. And that's all. Thanks for watching us, and remember, you can stay updated on our social media profiles on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good weekend.